Thanks for taking the time to come and chat with us today about the real estate acquisition search process that we did on your behalf. Before we get involved in talking about the specifics of what we did, maybe you can give us a quick overview about Southtown Auto Parts and a little bit about your history and kind of what your requirements were and how you were approaching that whole search process prior to us getting involved.
Well, we'd been in the same location for 35 years, and we'd basically outgrown the building we were in. We needed to find something bigger. We had about a 2.5-year window as far as our lease was concerned, and then we found out that the city had plans to use that location or that premises for the LRT, and it was no longer to be there. So basically I needed to find something, so I got a hold of a real estate agent and looked at some buildings. We looked at a number of buildings. Didn't really find what we were looking for, and I was starting to panic a little bit. We were getting to about 1.5 years out now, and from that point I decided to get hold of you people.
Yeah, the real estate community, sometimes they have a big challenge in trying to find something that meets the owner's specific requirements in those time frames, and especially in a market like this where inventories are very tight. You have limited available opportunities to kind of look at.
Yep.
So it makes it a difficult job for them. That's basically where the real estate acquisition search process kind of gets involved. It takes a little bit more of a proactive approach to finding a property, as you know. So the primary key to that success is for me to be able to identify, as you know, your specific requirements. So when we go to the market, we're targeting buildings that specifically meet your needs. And I know that can be a little bit painful to start off with, but that's critical in us kind of getting it right. So basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we targeted about 70 properties on your behalf. I believe we heard from about 9 different business owners.
Yep.
That are building owners that were prepared to sell. We narrowed it down to 6 that we thought were viable for you, and we ultimately landed on 1 of 6. What was our time frame with you in terms of kind of beginning to end to include all of that? Do you recall?
Well, I think we started the process, and by the time I actually took possession of the building was about 9 months, and from about the time that we started rolling with something that was serious was probably quite a bit shorter than that, probably closer to 5 or 6 months.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think in talking with both buyers and sellers, kind of the key to the whole success, and from a seller's perspective, and I'm interested in your feedback as well, is a lot of the sellers view the prospective purchaser as a very qualified purchaser because it's clear to them you spend a bunch of time and energy targeting them, spending some costs, identifying who they are. So I guess that speaks to you as a qualified buyer. We've indicated what our specific requirements are, and they clearly know that their building meets those requirements, so again that makes you more qualified. But probably most importantly is the perception that the sellers don't have to pay a real estate fee, and I think that's pretty appealing to them.
Yep.
Recognizing that the buyer bears the cost associated with that, but that seems to bring more sellers to the forefront.
Yeah, and I also think, having talked to some of the actual people who were selling the properties, they liked the discreetness of the whole program. They liked the fact that there wasn't going to be signs hung on their property for sale. There wasn't a bunch of people coming up with ideas why they're selling. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was a very good process.